You know, one of the most wackiest things that I've heard is that Islam calls for rape victims to be punished. Indeed, that's a very strong claim. A very, very strong claim. Now here's the interesting thing. Something that's very interesting. You see, I've read the entire Quran, and I've read the hadiths, which are basically the prophetic traditions of what he did and said, and also his companions. And I've read works of scholars and so forth, and I haven't come across a single text. I haven't come across a single text that says punish the rape victim. Now that's very interesting, you know, because the claim is being made over and over again, and I'm reading the text of this religion, and there's not a single text saying what these people are claiming. So what's going on here? I don't know. So here's a challenge. Why don't the people who make this claim put their money where their mouth is, and why don't they come up with the text which supposedly shows Islam's teaching that raped victims should be put to punishment? It's very easy, after all. If you have the proof, if you're making the claim, it shouldn't be hard to bring the evidence, right? Now coincidentally, what a coincidence, there is an Islamic text that talks about rape, about a lady being forced into sex. And guess what? The lady isn't punished. The lady isn't told to repent. Nothing happens to her. And the rapist is put to death. What? Wait a minute. I thought it was the other way around. What happened here? Why is the rapist being put to death? Isn't he supposed to be let free? Isn't she supposed to be punished, as the critics of Islam say? So who's wrong here? The text itself, or the claim is actually false and made up? I'll let you decide that one. We have an actual text that's talking about rape and what to do, which completely contradicts the claim, a claim which is made with no evidence. So it's up to you which side you want to believe. It's up to you. If you want to be intellectually bankrupt and hold a grudge against Islam because of your intellectual bankruptcy and dishonesty, that's your personal choice. That's your personal choice. But now, some may say, well, if Islam doesn't call for rape victims to be punished, then why does Saudi Arabia and Iran punish rape victims? Let's, for the sake of argument, let's assume that they actually do punish rape victims, for the sake of argument. Why are you using double standards? Why are you judging an entire religion based on the actions of governments? Why don't you apply that same standard to your government, to my government, USA? We know for a fact that the American government, the previous administration especially, we know that they committed several crimes. Torture, murder, illegal invasion, you name it, they probably did it. Now nobody holds their bad actions against the Constitution. No one holds their bad actions against American ideals or what they stand for. They say these are the actions of a bad government. So why double standards with a Muslim government? Why, when a Muslim government does something bad, you immediately connect this to Islam? But when our Western government does something bad, you don't connect it to the Constitution. So why the double standards? Is it because maybe you're dishonest? I think it is. It's obvious you have double standards right here. It's like there's one standard for Muslims, one standard for non-Muslims. And I really call on everybody to go do the research for themselves. Don't actually just believe a few biased Western newspapers that say, oh, Saudi Arabia and Iran punish rape victims. Go do the research yourself, because when you do, you'll actually find out that the stories don't match the reality. Go do it yourself. Now, another argument that might be made. Well, if Islam doesn't call for rape victims to be punished, then why do certain Muslims, not the governments, certain Muslims like in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Pakistan, why do they punish rape victims? Again, double standards. And again, I go back to my first point. We have an Islamic text that clearly says, don't punish rape victim, punish the rapist. These people are clearly going against it. So how is that the fault of Islam? These are people contradicting the teaching. And again, I repeat, double standards. We Muslims, just like you non-Muslims, have our black sheep. Why is it that when we have our black sheep who do something stupid, a crime, you generalize this against our religion, and everybody else? Why is it that when your people, your black sheep, commit abhorrent crimes, you don't apply the same standard? You say, oh, well, you know what, this guy is a criminal, forget about him. Why don't you apply the same standard with bad Muslims? Again, intellectual dishonesty, double standards. You're not honest with yourselves. And you even know, I don't know how you go and argue with these arguments when they're so filled with double standards. I couldn't do it. But if that's how you want to argue against Islam, fine, so be it. But put your money where your mouth is and bring the text to back up the bad Muslims, which you won't be able to do, but I'm still keeping that challenge open. So that's basically it. Or actually, there's another claim that is made. Well, a rape victim needs 4 witnesses. No, she doesn't actually. Rape is considered different than adultery and fornication. It's considered in another category of crime, terrorism, disorder in the land. And when it comes under that category, the lady does not need 4 witnesses. Rather, her testimony is the strongest evidence, and then the judge and the investigators, whoever's in charge of this case, will investigate the matter. And once it's proven, without 4 witnesses, the rapist will be put to a very harsh punishment, which is up to the judge. The judge can either execute him, and if the judge doesn't execute the rapist, he will make another very harsh punishment, which will act as a deterrent to other people. Not like in the West, where a rapist is freed after like 6 months or 2 years, where he goes back out and starts raping again. In Islamic law, if you get caught with rape, you will be put to a severe punishment. So people will be deterred. You will become a deterrent to other future rapists, to make them think twice about raping an innocent lady. So that's about it. Islam does not call for raped victims to be punished. I showed you, the text is on the side of this video, a clear Islamic text that says when the lady was raped, the rapist was put to death, and the rape victim, nothing happened to her. Nothing! So that's about it. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but that's the truth.